Hello and welcome everybody to your new daily creative challenge, and this is day 6 of the challenge. Happy, today's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to everybody. I have a lot to get to today, but I cannot wait to see who's joining me in the chat. We got Jack again. Thanks for coming back. Emer, thank you for being here. Alexandra, I've been getting so many like messages via Behance, via Instagram, and it's just really cool to see people engaged with the content that I'm creating with Adobe for this live stream, for this daily creative challenge. And I just kind of want to thank you just for taking part, because some of these submissions have been amazing. But if you are new and you haven't been here before and you're like, who is this guy and what is he saying? Hop on to behance.net/challenge/XD. This is where you're going to find what we're doing today, which is the Daily Creative Challenge, day 6. So join the community and chat with us. It's really amazing, and I'll give you a walkthrough on how that works. So each day you're going to receive a challenge. You kind of fire away and follow my guidance, and then create your own designs and submit them to the community for feedback, for daily feedback, or however you want. It's really up to you. And then each day you're going to have different challenges that we are going to provide you around a certain function of XD. And today is, let me refresh that actually. Today is Repeat Grid. So Repeat Grid is our new unlock challenge. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the most robust, one of the the legacy functions of XD, and I can't wait to show you more about it. You get the starter file here on Dropbox, and then once you have this Dropbox file, you'll have access to what I have. So very cool stuff. If you want to rewatch any of the old videos, please do. Just to kind of show you the channel, the channel that we're talking about as far as the community, it's right here in this Join Us chat room. If you don't have XD, please get it. It's really great for you to have a link there for you. And if you want past challenges, you can always do those too. All kinds of great material here. Jesse was doing the last challenge, and before that we had, I believe, Howard for the first of the new year. So tons of challenges for you to take part in, but join us in the community, and we are on Discord. Currently 1,000 online plus and 33,000 members. So just a rich resource for you here. And once it loads, yeah, you're gonna go to the Creative Challenge to find the new challenges, but we're in the current challenge channel. This is where we're living. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and review some projects now, and that way I don't forget later, because I have forgotten. So I'm gonna go ahead and just review a couple that I really just thought were awesome. This is a challenge that I want to roll with too. Like I really love the air quality app, and I think it's becoming like a thing, and it should be a thing. So this is an iteration of the air quality app submitted by Laurencia. Thank you for submitting. And I really love this neomorphism that's popping up. It's got a really cool vacuum sealed look, tons of dimension to it. I think this just looks great, and I love how these look like buttons for every room in your house. I think you did a great job. I think if I were to push this further, maybe think about making these buttons or these icons a little bigger. They do seem a little small. I think a good way to approach this is look at your device while you're prototyping, just to kind of see the scale and size of the tap area. So that's just my opinion. But I think it is a good principle to understand, are those tappable? And if they don't need to be tappable, maybe they need to be legible still. Adding a new room, you just hit all the things that I was struggling with, trying to get everything built in, and you made it neomorphic. So this looks beautiful. And then you still have the outside map air quality. Really fantastic work. Pushing this further, I would love to see motion on a further version. So maybe incorporating some animations for a later version. And that's the whole point of this week is we are going to be creating a portfolio piece for you to really have as a artifact on your Behance that you could just be proud of. Because that's the whole purpose of what we're doing here, is we want to create content for ourselves to either get us a job or just get us to get us to learn more. This is another air quality app, and just using these click states. Remember, there's no hover on mobile, so if you ever see that, just kind of avoid the hover state on mobile, because we can't hover on mobile. Really fantastic work. I'm gonna do one more, and let's see. a Burger King redesign. So that one of them is like redesigning. So that was yesterday's challenge, like redesign, reiterate, like push your designs further. That was the challenge for yesterday. And that's the challenge I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop in. I'll be back here on Behance, on Discord later and give you some more feedback on your design. So that's coming after the stream. So today's challenge, let's go over it, is we're designing an onboard experience. So we are taking the same project from yesterday. And so if you are new, you can go to yesterday's challenge and download all those files that I gave you because they're all for you to use and utilize them to kind of implement some of these onboarding features that I'm gonna be walking you through today. So I've already designed this. So this is my newest design that I iterated. And what I wanna push is now adding an onboarding to this, because at the end of the week, we are gonna have a fully fleshed experience that is like end to end of what a product could be. So it's taking something that we had just concepts. Last week we had 4 concepts. We had air quality. We had an interactive wall calendar. We had a sleep challenge, Apple Watch app. We had a food sharing kind of food waste prevention kind of idea. And this was just the one that for me felt like visually more appealing. And that's why I pushed it. So that's my decision. There's no motion on this prototype. It's all just design. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing onboarding. And just kind of give you some repeat grid we're gonna be using. And then these are some ideas of inspiration. And then there's also like this idea of storytelling that is embedded into your onboarding. It's a moment to tell the story of your brand, tell a story about your product to make it more tangible. So those are links here that you wanna take a look at to feel inspired about like storytelling and interaction design. So these are some concepts that I was looking at. I like the simplicity. I do feel that I do need like a sign-in screen, so I'm gonna be doing that too. So let's go ahead and rock. So I have a splash screen here, and the idea for this is to like maybe animate. I'm thinking about these animations later, but I'm not gonna push them yet. I'm definitely thinking about them. So I wanna have this part of my animation to like maybe move up when the next screen comes in. And this is gonna be my sign-in 1. I sign in, and I like naming them when I'm coming at this level of fidelity now, because we're moving, right? We're moving into like, maybe this is gonna be a lot more real than it was before. I do have some items that I made just to kind of speed things up. So I'm pushing this like metaphor of this like bubble, and I'm bringing these like little kind of molecules in here. And so like particles, should I say? And so my sign-in screen is gonna have that. It's gonna have a, I have a little button here. And this button is just a rectangle turned into a square with a text inside. I mean, nothing fancy. We all know how to make buttons, but you can always, we'll look at the layers just to kind of show you what it looks like. That button is just a create account text field with a size that I've already determined as my weight, 16 point. So that's kind of like the idea. And now I want to have I want to have this text field below. So I'm gonna do is hold a second. Some notes. So I want to have like your sign in is like there's a message, and this is like part 1 of the experience, right? So like this is people's introduction to your product. So what is it? What is it doing? You want to say breathe, maybe like breathe easy. Air is in your control. And I know it doesn't look, it looks like trash, but we'll clean that up by assigning it one of these. And I think I have at 14 point. That looks a little light. Let's see. That one, there you go. A little bold. So, and then we're gonna make this a little bigger. So particles, breathe easy, air is in your control. So that's the idea of this concept, right? And then we're gonna do some, we're gonna jump into our first repeat grid example. So I'm gonna take a dot, I'm gonna make it, let's make it 12 points and go ahead and hit repeat grid and then, or let's see, repeat grid or command R and just kind of boom, boom, boom. Really simple. Now we have 3 shapes. Be careful if like some clipping happens. Like that is what you need. That's it. And then we'll center that. And so the idea too is you want to have people be able to jump in to sign in or create an account, but you also want like a message of some sort to like be able to like communicate what your product is. I'm actually going to ungroup this because what happens is if I try to like make this, I know I need this one to be filled in, but like the second one, I need it to just be a border. But if I make it a border, they all change. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to ungroup this repeat grid, and I'm going to make these two outlines, just in white. And so now I have like these kind of pagination style like bubbles. And if you the size is kind of up to you. Like I think these are a little big, but so let's change it a little bit. I'm gonna make them 10. And then group them and then center them. There you go. All right, and then the other thing that I wanna do is give people an option to sign in. So say like have an account, and this is something you see, right? We see this all over the place. Have an account. When we get locked out of things, right, like that, have an account, sign in. And this one is gonna be a little lighter, so no bold on that. Oh. And maybe just pat like an underline on sign in. All right, so there you go. There's our first part of our onboard, just kind of setting up what's next. And the next part is gonna be just duplicate that. I hold Option and Shift to do it straight, or you could just kind of do that and then Command D, duplicate. So it's up to you what you want to do. And then the next part of this is like, I was imagining like these bubbles kind of like bubbling up or doing something like that. So just to begin, I'm not doing any animation now. That's something that I probably will do later. I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna shift it up and probably to like right here. And I'm gonna get rid of this because that message is not that it's not valid, but it's something that we're doing a new message. So what's part 2 of this experience that we're wanting to convey? And I think that breathe easy, air is in your control. That's like our tagline. But what are we doing? We're collecting data, right? Collect data. Control the data. Or actually, we should show that again. Let's see. Or no, I know. All right, yeah, this one I remember now. Sorry, sometimes the memory is not as good as my computer's memory. So real-time data, and I'm not really a fan of Lorem Ipsum copy, so I try to like think about copy beforehand, just to kind of, that's just something I do. So I overthink copy a lot. I'm not a copywriter by any means, but I think there's a level of fidelity of copy that seems convincing. So like real-time data and historic air quality, air quality data. Okay, that seems like it's an important message that I want to convey. And I think an image to go along with that is I just created this little illustration with like these particle bubbles kind of flowing in. And let's look at my layers panel. Where is that going? I want it to be behind my logo. So there's kind of like these particles like flowing into these filters, into this data thing, and then a hand holding the phone. So that's the real-time and historic air quality data. And then I'm gonna show you a plugin that I like to use that's really cool and simple. I select these two things, and I'm going to, the shortcut is Shift-Command-P to bring up plugins. And I'm gonna bring up a plugin called Toolkit. You might have seen this before, but you can swap any 2 items. So it easily swaps those 2 items. That's all it does. It's pretty simple tool, but it's really effective. All right, so that's looking good. And the next thing is just take that over there and duplicate this guy. Let's see, this is gonna be 2, sign in 2. And we're gonna do a sign in 3. So this is like the 3rd step of the sign-in process. And just take this and delete. And I want to bring in I have another one. Let's see. That's my components. I got a component for this. And what's the other feature of our product? And that's the thing, is like you want to highlight features when you're doing these onboarding like stories, and this is like the storytelling part. So you want to like convey like what is the use. And I think one of the cool parts of what we can do with collecting data as a whole, as a collective community, is we can then have more knowledge of how air is in certain other areas. So yeah, and so there's, just so you know, like I'm pushing this concept. So if there's a concept that you wanted to just push, like the interactive wall calendar, feel free to push that one. This is just the one that I felt for me was important to push. But it's really up to you. I just want you to have like a full piece, and this is like the structure that we use for any of these concepts. But if you want to recreate this one, feel free to do that. All right, so collect data from the community. Just a simple message. It might not be the most accurate but for right now, I think it's gonna work. And the image that I thought was ideal for that is just like the map. And it's one of the screens I have here. So the way this works is like you have your family room, and you can kind of slide through to the master bedroom, and then you can add more. And then you have all this real-time data separated by hour, day, week, month. Refresh button. I actually got this idea from one of our submissions from Cornelian. He actually included a refresh button, which I think is really a great feedback system to let you know that you're getting the most current data. So that's a great idea, I thought. And then, like particles, like more like water than air. Is water not a particle? I don't know. So I think that's the idea, is like bubbles, particles, like they can be abstract, right? It's up to, it's subjective. If maybe this could be pushed a little bit more to look like particles. I don't know. So it's something that like I'm just rolling with right now, but maybe it could be refined later. Yeah, if you guys don't think it looks like particles and looks like more like water, we can address that. So, all right, next is we're gonna do the, oh wait, this is the other one we gotta do. It's here. Right. Boom, boom. And then we're doing, the plugin that allows us to swap any two items. So then we have our really basic, and not basic, because there's gonna be some animations in here. And maybe the particles will look better if they're white. I don't know. Maybe that's an idea, or orange or something. Maybe they're different colors. Open to suggestions completely. All right, so now, if there's anybody who has any questions, I still have time. I'm actually doing quite good on time today. So go ahead and fire them away. Next is gonna be our sign in. So this is gonna be like the main like sign in screen. So we're gonna keep the button there. We're gonna do now is our repeat grid for our sign in. So the first thing that I know I need is, let's do like, I was thinking like I do a rectangle and we just kind of like match it to this size, go 40 height. That's fine like that. Let's do like a little bit of a round corner. So like you can either use these handles here to round all the corners. I like to just use this, and then you can get granular if you want to like change each corner. I'm just gonna keep them all at 4. And then I get my text tool. I'm gonna add some text in that. So first, it's white, so that's hard to read. Let's see if I can bring that back. So first name, left align. And I want to make sure that this is kind of like a default field, so it's got to be gray. So let's get a gray hue going like that, because you want to make sure that people know that that's something that they could edit, right? If it's like a blue color, it might seem like it's not editable. All right, so that's just a little tip. All right, 4. And then now I just get these 2 items and Command R or repeat grid, and then I just drag this down, right? And I have what? Last name. And there is another section of an onboarding that you could kind of push, which is like, how do you set up a new device, and like what is the walkthrough and like the steps for that? Like how do you like add a new device? Is there like a serial number on the device? I'm not gonna get to that today. I might get to that on my submission for like my my final project. But I'm just right now playing with some of these concepts. So now I have all these repeat grids. So repeat grids are very similar to components. So if I wanted to change any of the ones on the bottom, I could. I just kind of like edit the top one. And if I edit the top one, Like see, like they all change, right? And that's the whole point. So I get this. I want to add maybe some dimension to it. I can choose to do like add color. Let's see. Didn't quite. Let's see. Layer. Let me go to the layer. There it is. It's not changing. Yeah, it's below. You see that? It's very subtle. Let's change it though. Let's change it to solid white or gray. So like you could see like there's a little bit of something going on below there. It's just this is also just to convey like if you change one thing on the repeat grid, it changes across everywhere. But yeah, so like I'm actually liking this line kind of idea of having a field as a line. So I'm just gonna change this and they all update. So the height, I'm gonna do 3 or 2 right there. And I move this over because now it just looks awkward. And then now that this happened, my spacing looks awkward. And also this name, this is a little too light. So I'm gonna change that. But like what's really cool is that it all changes because repeat grid is doing all that. And I could change the spacing again too. So then go to 0. And then I have a little, oh, look at that, looks good, right? And then this changes to join. And then like that. So yeah, if I was gonna add like another screen that's having us use the feature of like adding a new device and like scanning it with like maybe like a QR code or something, you could also push that and do that as well. Like I said, I probably will do that, but it might be a little bit more intricate and I'll just do that later. But these screens are ready to go. Let's take a look at them. Like I said, I didn't prototype any of these as far as like connecting them. So they're just the designs. So you create your account or you sign in. If you just swipe to the right and not sign in, and you just have this message. So that's another thing, is giving options is really, really great for the experience. And this is talking purely experience design tip. If you can create an account, you have all these options from this first one. You can choose to swipe to hear the story of your brand, or you don't have to, right? You could just skip over that. And then you can, from here, this is the last one, and you can create or sign in still. So giving those options is really important because if you like make people do an onboard, sometimes that really like distracts from the experience. And so you don't want to do that. So I'm going to get these items. I'm going to use another plugin, and I've demoed this before. I really like it. It is my custom export plugin. I'm going to do it ×6, PNG, and I'm going to do it for my day 6. All right, so now I have these ready to go, and I could just get my files. Don't know what that is. Documents, live, content, XD, day 6, and sign in 1, 2, 3, 4. Just drop those here. Okay, so now I have 1. What size is ideal here? Let's see. Layers. Got my layers. Put it in my mask group. All right. Boom, and that's $3.95. Okay, so then I have all these, and I'm going to change the size of these to $3.95, 45 or $3.45. Okay, so get this, put it in here, and this is so I'm sharing it out. So if you want to like look at like what I'm doing for my onboarding, you'll have it on Behance in a bit. I'm going to try to get it done for you right now on the show, but yeah, trying to get to it. All right, we only have 20 seconds. So I'm gonna post this on my Behance. It's gonna be in here in my daily creative challenge. This is just my dumping ground for my current work. I'll go ahead and clean this up in a little bit and add motion later. But that's today's challenge, is designing an onboarding experience. You can design an onboarding experience for whatever project you're choosing to push. I don't want to say that you're doing the particle or the AQI monitor. It's really up to you. Can't wait to see what you do. Continue submitting your work to Discord, posting them on Behance. Reach out to me, send me messages if you have questions. I'm always here to chat. I'm always willing to help. That's it for today, and we'll see you tomorrow, but stay tuned for Jesus, who's gonna walk you through with Alexis on their challenge. Thank you so much. Have a good day.